Hello, good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to another edition of the Poetry of Painting. This week, we've got something a little bit different for you. We've got talk about poetry, as you would expect, and art, but also about books. And we have two guests on the show tonight. We have the wonderful Steph Percival, who is a poet, and hopefully you've seen her on the show before, because if you missed it, go and watch it on YouTube. Fantastic poetry and a lovely lady. And then we also have Elisa Colangeli, who's in Italy and is another artist in the Bloomz group. So let me bring them onto the screen without more ado. Bear with me. There's Steph and Elisa. Good evening, ladies. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. All fine here. Thank you.
Good. Well, as I say, we've got something a little bit different tonight. We're going to have Steph reading one of her beautiful poems for us. And we have not a painting this time. It's not written about one of my paintings. So we've got a different photograph for you. Oh, hello, Chris. Lovely to have you with us. And Nay, great to have us with us. Nay, thank you very much for watching.
Hello.
So,
my sister.
Welcome to Steph's sister. Hi, Nay. Right. So who would like to go first? Shall we do a bit of book or a bit of poetry first? Hands up. Who would like to go first? Right, Steph. Excellent. So, Steph, tell us a little bit about your poem, if you'd like to, before you read it, and then I'll put the photo up.
Because I think I'll give a little bit of context to this, because as Fiona said, it's not about a single piece of art. It's actually about a whole house of art. And I was very mean last time I was on about Northampton. And I have to redress that by saying there is a gem in Northampton that is worth going to see. And that is 78 Derngate, which is a house. And Charles Rennie Mackintosh designed the interior in the early 20th century for the family there, the Bassett Lokes. And it is an extraordinary house. And if you know of Charles Rennie Mackintosh's work, you'll know his sort of Art Nouveau style. And this house is particularly geometric. It's got wonderful colours, wonderful lines. And I did go and see it. Sorry, I had to laugh at that remark. You should. I was lucky enough to go and see it with my writing group a few years ago, and we had to write a poem about the house. And my starting point was the wonderful guest room. So if you want to put the picture up, Fiona.
Steph, I'm not sure if your microphone's catching on something. We're getting little knocks at times, so just want to make sure we can hear your poetry really well. So I'll put the photograph up ready anyway. So there we are.
I'm just looking at where my
I didn't know if it was maybe catching on a necklace or something like that, possibly.
Yeah, it's my ear. Okay. Right, is that better? No?
Still getting a little bit, but don't worry, we'll carry on.
Right. I'll try and sit very still.
Okay. And Christine is here as well, Steph.
Oh, hi, Christine.
Hi, Christine. Welcome to the show, and welcome to everybody who's listening in or who listens on replay. Great to have you on board. Thank you. So over to you, Steph.
Right. So this is called 78 Derngate Guest Room. If I awoke in a room like this, I would plan my day, plot it down straight lines of black and white, no grey. I would stretch, elongate muscle fibres, align my body, face the day full on. Pulling the drapes would display the garden covered in snow. Ordered orchard trees would march in dark rows, their branches outstretched. Beyond, the river, edged with bladed reeds bending in unison. A chevron of geese would soar overhead. The clock would order time, precise packets, rhythmic tick-tock, tick-tock from square turrets. As I walked to the shops, my stride would be even. My shoes would pattern the snow, cubes following triangles, repetition printing the pavement, telegraph wires inked against the morning, lines leading me to town, eaves lit by length of snow, glittering icicle bunting, shaped like spears. It would not take long. My list of items crossed through quickly, the ringing of tills efficient. On my return, I would note park railings, standing to attention without wavering, caging a square of snow. And a magpie would enhance the monochrome scene with a flash of iridescent blue, the colour of bed covers. In the kitchen, the flour would fall through the grid of sieve and the cakes bake uniformly. Prisms of sharp light would pierce in fans of brightness, coat everything with green tint, reflecting the tiles on the floor. We might play cards in the afternoon, laying clubs on hearts, diamonds on spades. After such a day, I could sleep, safe in my canopy of lines, my dreams cradled in patterns.
Lovely, very lovely. Again, you just paint such images with your words. It's another way of being creative and create. You just conjure up, that snow caged in by the railings and the magpie. It's just absolutely wonderful, lovely.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank you very much. Excellent. So let me take the picture off the screen again for the moment. And so let's move on to Italy. Let me have your scores, please. Sorry. So thanks, Chris, for the reference there to Eurovision. Chris says, great poem, very descriptive, Steph. So thank you for that. So you'll see behind me in the pictures on the background, we have some books, and Elisa has just had a new book published. It was last week, I think, was it, Elisa, rather than this week?
It was published on the 30th of May, last Thursday. Yes, we are just at the beginning of this editorial adventure, I would say.
But it's such an adventure already because you've been bestseller already, I believe, in several categories.
That's true. The title of the book is Women Who Dare to Desire, and thank you, Fiona, for supporting the project by your copy. And we are 9 authors, 9 women contributing to this multi-author book. Each of us wrote a story, which is a part of a biography, because there are 9 stories of transformation and 9 daring stories showing that dreams can come true and we can really overcome our limits as women. We are all surrounded by so many limits, limits put from our families and education and even, the labels that we have on. Mom, wife, working, caregiver, so many things. But the essential message of this book, which was, put together by Deborah Luzzi, who is a coach, an Italian lady living in the UK for 30 years now, is that we can all have a dream and it's possible to have our dream come true. This is an interactive book, so it's not supposed to stay on the shelves covered with dust, okay? But you will really feel entertained and you will engage with the book. The book has It's 9 stories, as I've said, but after each story there are activities, and the reader is supposed to have space to write or even draw, in my case, because you see the blank space here in the pages. So each of us suggested activities like meditation, journaling, drawing in my case, and using symbols to express some of the interiority that we carry on our shoulders. And at the end of the story, there are some more pages where the reader can write down her own story, because everyone has something to say, and a lot that can be taught to others. And
so really it's going to be 10 daring stories of courage once the reader has finished reading it and written their own story.
Yeah, and consider that the first page, it has, you see like a lip shape and also a fingerprint. So we are supposed to welcome the ladies that are going to buy the book by kissing the page and leaving a trace on the first page, like, a welcoming message. And then you start and you go deep and deep and deep in this sort of dialogue, which is on the paper, but it's a dialogue with ourselves as well. Excellent. We are very happy for the results that we are achieving so far, because as you said, we hit 5 bestseller categories for Kindle version in the UK, all related to psychology and spirituality. And for the paperback version, we hit the #1 in the US for the journaling category. So we're very happy, really. And I really suggest all the women that are watching us, but also men, to take a look on Amazon, and I will put the link as we jump off the live, and because you can get some bonuses if you access the book right now, some bonuses offered by each author. So the experience is even more interactive than simply reading the book. And also because if a man gives this book to his wife or daughters, I had some men who did this, I think that it will be a good present, because it's a sign of interest, at least for the feminine dimension, that needs really to be understood and nobilitated, I think.
Excellent. Well, many congratulations on the success of the book so far, Elisa. It's been doing extraordinarily well. Brilliant. And let's hope it stays at the top of the bestseller list for you for ages. So fingers crossed.
I'm in good company because you wrote a book as well. So really, you're living in the Bloomz Art group for the publishing books.
Well, mine wasn't just me writing it, of course, which I'll come on to in a minute. But first, Nay said, lovely writing, Steph. And Christine said, always love looking at the world as you see it, Steph, and how you share it with your words. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, Oh, Rosalind's listening as well. Lovely poem, Steph. Felt as if I was walking in the snow with the magpies.
Yeah.
So,
it's definitely, if you're in the Northamptonshire area, it is definitely a house worth going to see. The history there is great, and they also have a lovely tea room as well. So that's always a bonus.
That'll get Chris interested, having a tea room. It's a great one for afternoon tea. So, and we'll put the link for Derngate into the comments afterwards as well. Yeah. So we can do that. But yeah, so there is another book, the Poetry of Painting book, which you may realize is the same name as the title of this show, and that's how it came about. So it does have some of my poetry in it as well, but it also has 41 paintings, and these are all the contributing poets, and then start getting into paintings, and then each painting has 2 poems to accompany it, one by myself and one by my guest poet for that painting. So try and find a good page to show you where they're opposite. So for example, for Chroma Pier, try and get it so that it doesn't disappear into the background. We've got the painting and then 2 separate poems giving a totally different view of the painting that's being written about for that one. So my book's also available on Amazon, and I can put the link for that in the comments afterwards, or people can message me as well and we can get that sorted out. So yeah, so we are getting our publishing going, aren't we, with the Bloomz, Elisa? So and for those that haven't gathered yet or haven't been following some of my posts, the Bloomz is a group of 7 artists. We met through an online art marketing course and have stayed great friends and very supportive and encouraging of each other ever since. And we have an annual Bloomz show, which takes the end of this month on the 28th, 29th and 30th of April. So we have 4 shows, one on the evening of the 28th, which is a Friday, and that's from 7 till 10 UK evening time. And then on Saturday from 10 till 1, and then again 7 till 10 in the evening, all UK times. And also now the Sunday morning from 10 till 1 as well. So they are UK times, folks. So please don't miss the show by thinking it's, Australian time, or if you're in Australia, please check how the time converts from UK time. So it's a show that's very different from other online art shows, as I'm sure Elisa will agree. And hopefully Steph will be able to come along and see us all there and experience it. Because we do the show on Zoom, but it's not just like a Zoom that you might have seen before. We each have our own separate studios, our own breakout rooms on the Zoom call. So you can go and see each individual artist, and we will have some guest artists with us as well. So there'll be 11 international artists in total. And you can visit the rooms of the artists you're interested in meeting, seeing their work, and actually chat with us live and see our work, watch a show reel, a video of our work, or we can, actually show you work, holding it up for you to see so you can get a true idea of scale, and just talk to us about who we are, what we're about, how we create. Do you want some tips, hints and tips on how we create our work? If you're another artist, we're happy to share. And just, we're very different as well. Elisa does some wonderful figurative paintings, mainly of women, and very strong and quite spiritual, some of them as well. They're just very powerful. And then we've got animal art, we've got fiber art sculpting, encaustic wax art, watercolors, acrylics, mixed media, gum, oils for me, and abstract, landscapes, all sorts of different works, something for everybody basically as well. Oh, and not forgetting wacky lamps, Steve's wacky lamps, which are brilliant. I actually have one in my home here. It's marvelous. So there really is something for everything at the shows. So do come along. We'll put the link in the comments as well. And we're also doing what we're calling art cafe chats about it. In fact, Elisa did one this morning with Stephanie Lester and Mac McGregor. Mac's in Scotland, Steph's in England, and obviously Elisa's in Italy. And they're just chats about the show, what to expect, and just wonderful insights into the artists that are involved. So do look out for those. I will be publicising them on Facebook and Instagram as well. So have a look out for those. And we would love to see you and chat to you, wouldn't we, Elisa?
Yeah, the experience is very immersive. So the guest will expect to be really involved in our vision of art. If he wants to have a chat with us, he's more than welcome. But if you feel shy or you just want to see the show reels going on in each of our rooms, you can, of course, turn your camera and microphone off, and no one will force you to interact if you don't want. But the powerful aspect of this experience is that you can really travel all around the world from the comfort of your house. And
Absolutely.
so you will connect from Australia. Hello, Sammy! Another Bloomz artist coming with us. From Australia to Italy and reach the UK.
Switzerland.
Katrina from Switzerland. So many kinds of view, many techniques, many products as well, because we are all different, and that's the strength of the Bloomz art group. I think we are more than really fellow artists. There is a deeper connection and collaboration. And also the tickets are completely free. So once you register through our website, you can access the tickets, and you will see that maybe one session is not enough to visit each of us. And a lot of people say, okay, I will jump for 10 minutes, and then you stay for 3 hours, really, literally. Because
and some of them come back.
You say, okay, I want to jump to that room, and then, oh, I'm curious, because there is also an introductory room where the host, that he from the Wiki Lens, will explain briefly how it works, and then you will pop in and follow your way according to your artistic intuition. Okay.
And we've even had people come back for 2 or 3 shows because they haven't had time to see everybody and talk to everybody as much as they'd like in that time. So you'd be very welcome to come and visit us, everybody, and we would love to see you. So Steph, we're monopolizing the conversation with books and shows.
It's very interesting, because I hadn't realized about the Bloomz group. And yes, I will definitely be along to that.
Excellent. So have you got things coming up in the pipeline that you'd like to tell us about as well?
Not particularly. I should have thought about that, shouldn't I? Well, I do have a book out, published not so very long ago, a novel called All the Trees in the Wood, and that is also available on Amazon.
Excellent. Well, let's have your link as well.
Yeah, so it's a sort of mystery suspense novel, and so that's my published book. So
excellent. Well, do put the link in the comments as well, Steph, because from hearing your poetry, although I haven't heard as much of your poetry yet as I would like to, but so we can put that right in the future. But I'm sure it promises to be a fantastic book as well. So look out for it, everybody. Look out for the comments afterwards. Oh, Roslyn says it's very good.
Oh, thank you, Ros.
and Chris says he's tuned into Bloomz shows in the past, and they are great, well worth popping along. Pop along, but don't be amazed if you are actually there for the full 3 hours, because as Elisa said, people say, oh, I'll just come and have a quick look. But there's so much to see and so many people to talk to. And you can also interact with the other guests. If you want to come along as a group, you can either all sit there together, or you could all log in separately, but you can talk to each other as well as us while you're in the show as well. So, Sammy says that she's surrounded by authors. What a treat. Indeed. It's really exciting. We do this once a year now. We did at the start, we had two or three shows in the year, I think, Elisa, didn't we? But we've decided on one show in the year now, because there's a lot of preparation goes into it as well, and a lot of hard work from especially some of the Bloomz members, who put in just so much hard work into creating the graphics for us and setting it all up, getting all the technology done and everything for us. So we've really, and definitely worth coming along. Oh, Judith says Steph Percival's book is brilliant, like a dark fairy tale.
Thank you, Judith. Great. I'm glad to see some people have actually read it, which is really nice. And if you do read it, please put a review on the relevant pages, because and it doesn't have to be, constructive criticism is always appreciated.
Yeah, excellent. And the same goes for all of our books. If anybody can add a review, that would be brilliant. Preferably, as Steph says, constructive criticism or glowing comments, of course.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, oh, Chris, he says, and the artists can talk a lot. Well, actually, he's right. So, yeah, I'll give you that one, Chris. The artists can talk a lot, but that's because we're so friendly and welcoming, and we love chatting to people about art, and we get sidetracked sometimes and talk about all sorts of things. So, yeah, it's a really good, fun experience. Yeah. So there we go. So what's next, Elisa? Any more books in the pipeline, or some more artwork, some more paintings or sculptures?
Well, I think I will introduce in my art show a couple of sessions of creativity with people, because I would love them to experience the possibility of being creative without planning and without the fear of being creative.
Yeah.
You will accept this funny expression, and they can carry just a piece of paper and a pencil, and it will be enough. We will do some guided visualization, and then we will interact to produce something which is about our soul, not because we want to edit a masterpiece, but because we want to create something.
So no pressure to create anything, as you say, not a masterpiece. It's just giving the voice not to the logical brain, but to the art, to the voice that needs to be spoken, to the words that need to be drawn by images, by symbols. So there is another level of approach to creativity, which is not really planning everything and become, to a perfectionist, because, a newbie in art can be perfect. I am not perfect, and I will never be. Yeah.
And because of my experience of, crush and getting stuck into perfectionism, now I realize that the best approach that I can suggest to people that would love to create and start their own artist way, like the book, having a little rendezvous of art with themselves, it's like this. So going with the intuition rather than with logic. And I would love to see if it's possible to interact with people. I will promote such a variation this year. And this morning, Stephanie said that she's going to use a couple of sessions to make a demo, the morning sessions. So she will felt in real time in front of the video, and we'll answer all the questions about this, and then she will show the show reel at night. So let's see. What about you, Fiona? Have you got something in mind for your room?
I will be also not only talking about my landscapes and things, which I love doing, but also about portraits that I do, and how people can commission a portrait, what the sort of things are they need to think about in advance, and actually to find out how easy it can be. So I should be available to talk to anybody about portraits, people, animals, And I also do landscape commissions as well. But Sammy says perfection is embracing our imperfections. Absolutely, Sammy. And Sammy suggests I do knife throwing as well. For those of you who don't understand that comment, I paint with painting knives, not kitchen knives. And they're not generally too sharp, but good one, Sammy. Thanks. So
also, I'm just going to say that Judith Morris has put wow to Elisa's description of the painting room, and I'm with Judith. I think that sounds really excellent, and I'm going to be there, Elisa.
Excellent. Well done.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Well, ladies, I'm afraid the time has flown past, as it always does on these shows. And thank you both so much for coming on the show tonight, especially as it was fairly short notice for this one. And thank you, everybody, for watching, making comments, and just taking the time out to listen to the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do look for the comments and the links down below after the show. Thank you, Nay. Nay says thank you. So take care, everybody, and hopefully see you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.